Beef Wellington. Let's cook it. Beef Wellington, what is it? Well, it starts out with a center cut of a whole beef tenderloin, the very middle, actually known as the chateaubriand, because as you can see, it's the most even part of the tenderloin. You take this piece of meat and you wrap it in a duxelle, which is a bunch of mushrooms that are blitzed down and cooked down and dried out around it with some prosciutto, and then it's encased in a puff pastry. Some people have said that it really tests your ability to cook because you've got to perfectly cook the meat, got to make sure the mushrooms don't fall out, and you want the pastry really puffy and, you know, just great tasting and beautiful. It's really not that hard. I only do one of these a year. I do them at Christmas. I consider it a classic holiday dish, which is why I'm rocking the Meat Church Ugly Sweater t-shirt. So people can be intimidated by it because it's a few steps, but it's totally worth it because it's a showstopper at the table, and this is something my entire family likes, so I would definitely consider doing this for your holiday meal. So let's get into it. Again, we're starting out with the chateaubriand. If you want to know how we got to this part, you can refer back to last week's video, which was beef tenderloin, and we show how we trimmed it. But basically what we did was I rip off everything I can by hand, all the excess fat, run my finger along the natural chain in between this big piece and what's known as the chain, separate it, cut the ends off, and then remove the silver skin. Really pretty simple. You can use all that trim for other things. I cut the head off that I'll actually use to cook steaks with. You can grind it up, you know, whatever you want to do, so there's no waste. First things first, we've got to season this and we want to sear it. So I'm cooking today on the Traeger Timberline XL. Y'all know I cook everything outside, but this works great for this cook. As always, you can use whatever you have, but here's the deal. The main cook is going to be cooked at 400 degrees. I don't want to do that on a smoker. Why is that? I don't think you should run smokers up that high. People have jumped in the comments before and said, that's fine, I can do that. Well, you can, but depending on what type of smoker you have, it could affect the paint or whatever, and I don't know your situation. So high heat cooks, I do on a pellet grill. Also, this grill has an induction burner, and I need to saute some stuff in the beginning, so that's why we're rolling with this today. As always, you could replicate all this inside if you want, but that's no fun, so here we are outside. Even though it's the coldest day I can remember in Texas, it's gonna be a good time. So I'm going to season this first. I'm going to use a little of our Meat Church Holy Cow. You can just use salt and pepper if you want, but I always say I don't salt and pepper, I holy cow, because this is salt, pepper, garlic. Use the board, get some excess. There we go. While this adheres, I'm gonna go over to my induction burner, and I'm gonna get that up to like a medium high heat so that I can sear this. So I'll meet you guys over here. All right, my Finex skillet's nice and hot. Like I said, medium high heat. Let's put a little bit of oil in here. I don't want a lot. If you're using Timberline XL, this is on number 7. All right, let me get the beef. Right in the middle. So we're gonna sear, you know, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes. I just want browning on all sides. I'm just gonna roll this around constantly, basically. Like I said, just get good color on all sides, just like that. And I like to move to, I always say a new piece of metal, so just slightly over where we were so the metal's a little bit warmer. For the gram. All right, be sure to get the ends as well. All right, it's been about 6 minutes or so, I'm gonna take this back over to the butcher block. All right, you can see this has great caramelization on it. That's why we want to sear it first. Lock it in, get that added layer of flavor from searing it. But while it's hot, English mustard, because Gordon Ramsay said so. I'm gonna use the same hand to rub this in. This adds great color, a little bit of flavor. Don't be scared of it. So we want this to cool off because we're gonna wrap this and stuff. So we're gonna let it sit out here. It's obviously cool out here today. Some people put it in their fridge. I don't think we need to do that because it's a cool day. So again, we're just gonna let this sit and cool off while we move on to the next step. I've got some shallots and some garlic and mushrooms. To make the duxelle, we need to blitz this down and get it really nice and small and fine. There's a ton of moisture in mushrooms, and we're gonna cook that down to get it out of here. So food processor. Looks pretty good. It's a crawfish boil where the one crawfish is still alive. Live for another day. All right, from here it's pretty simple. We're gonna take finely minced shallots and garlic. We're gonna drop them in the same over here on the induction burner on the skillet. Cook that down for just like a minute or two. Then we're gonna go in the mushrooms. All right, let me grab some oil. So for the duxelle and the mushrooms, you want the pan dry, and you don't have to do the garlic and the shallots, but I just like the depth of flavor it adds. I love shallot because it gives you that onion taste, but not as strong. So I did a little oil because I'm gonna cook these for just 1 to 2 minutes. And by the time I put the mushrooms in here, the pan's gonna be dry. Some people just drop mushrooms in the dry pan because you're trying to get the moisture out. Smells amazing. All right, let's grab the mushrooms. Oh, holy cow. So just cook this over medium heat until the moisture is out of here. So you're looking 7, 8, 10 minutes or so. So as you start to turn, you can see the color turning brown here. Moisture's headed out. We're on the right path. You want to be sure to dry these mushrooms completely out. And you can see the moisture right there coming out, because if you don't, right here, if you try to compile the Wellington like this, this would cause the mushrooms to just fall out of it after you cut it. All right. So here's what you're looking for. It looks like there's no more moisture in there, but it starts sticking to the pan and stuff like that, you know it's pretty well dried out. So I want these mushrooms to cool off. So I'm gonna spread these out on this pan. And I'm gonna tell you, I should have blitzed these a little bit more. I left too many big pieces in there. Won't be the end of the world, but all right, I'm just gonna let these cool off, and then I'm gonna go grab my cling wrap and prosciutto and get ready to build this. All right, while the mushrooms were cooling, I laid out 2 pieces of cling film, slightly overlapped them by 5 inches or so. And then what I've done is I've laid out very thinly sliced prosciutto, and they're just kind of shingled on top of each other. So there's 6 pieces across. I've added a couple pieces at the end in case I need a little extra room. So now we're gonna take these mushrooms that are cooled, and we're just gonna we're gonna lay them across this prosciutto just nice and evenly. All right, doesn't have to be completely perfect, but that's about as good as I'm gonna get it. So from here, we're gonna take the chateaubriand, we're gonna put it right in the middle, and then we're gonna roll it up tight. So take your cling film, roll it over, get it in real nice and tight, tuck your sides in. All right, twist it off tight. Now go nice and tight so you get a pretty log here. Now we're home free. All right, so we're super tight. Let's go take this to the refrigerator for 30 minutes. While that's chilling in the fridge, let's get our puff pastry ready. So this is puff pastry that I bought at Whole Foods in Dallas. You can make your own if you want. I'm not trying to be good at making dough, so I just bought it. All we're gonna do is on a floured work surface, roll this out to about a 1/4 inch thickness. All right, I got this how I want it, so I'm gonna go grab the beef out of the fridge. All right, we've got our Wellington back out of the fridge. We've got our puff pastry on some more cling film. We get to repeat that really fun step. So let's get it out of here. Look at that right there. All right, now you want to take an egg wash. You're gonna make some glue here. Don't be bashful with it. This is what is going to help this puff pastry stick when you roll it up. I'm also going to do this side too when I see kind of where I need it. All right, nice and tight. All right, I'm gonna cut the excess off. All right, put the seam on the bottom. And then you can either fold down and fold this completely underneath, or you can just kind of tuck it in nice and tight, because we're gonna roll this up again and we're gonna go back in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes to help it keep shape. All right, I just kind of tucked it in and I'm folding this top piece over the top. And now we want to roll this tight. Here we go again. Feels like we've been here before. Nice and tight. Back in the fridge, 5, 10 minutes, keep shape. We're gonna bring it out, put an egg wash on it, get to cooking. All right, here we are. We went in the fridge for probably like 15 minutes just to firm it up a little bit. So you're gonna open this up, and you can just egg wash this from here and put some salt on it and throw it right in the cooker, but we're gonna go one extra little step when we open her up here. So some people will take the back side of a knife and kind of make some designs here, like I said, and egg wash it and apply some coarse salt at the top. But what we did was we got this fancy lattice pastry cutter roller off Amazon. I think it was 23 bucks. I bought this a couple years ago, and I'll put the link down in the description if you guys want this. Totally optional. But what I did was I took another piece of that puff pastry out of the box, and I just rolled this tool down it just really hard, kind of like a knife, and then using my hands just kind of pulled it apart and separated it. So you make a beautiful little lattice to go over the top. That honestly, like, I would do this because it's like next level presentation. Makes you look super fancy, and you don't have to tell anybody it really wasn't all that hard. So all right, so you just want to just use gravity here, kind of pull this apart, make it look nice and pretty, and roll it underneath. All right, so just kind of trim your excess off here, and from here, look, like I said, we do this once a year, so you're on your own to try to make it look pretty. Lattice prey. All right, now it's time to apply the egg wash all over it, 100%. All right, I'm just pressing this lattice down here so it holds good. I'm gonna cook this on a little sheet pan. Okay. Put some coarse salt on it. While I'm doing that, let's talk about cooking. Super, super simple. We're cooking at 400 degrees. This will give you some nice surface area. It looks pretty, but also, you know, I like the surface that it adds, and this is just a nice touch. So we're cooking 400. Some people cook them at 425. Usually it takes around half an hour. You guys know me, I like medium rare, which is 130 degrees. So I'm gonna cook this to no more than 125 in the dead middle. You could insert a leave-in thermometer in here, you know, if you want, but I'm just gonna check it along the way, and I know about how long it's gonna take. So here we go. By the way, meat church pellets on this cook. Okay guys, it's been 45 minutes, took a little longer than I thought. We're in the 120s, low 120s. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yahtzee! Telling you. You throw that on the dinner table and slice it open, winner, winner. All right, I gotta let it cool off. I'm gonna go get something special to drink because it's a holiday meal. 15 minutes, let's eat. All right guys, it's been 15 minutes. The internal temperature has risen a little more than I thought it would, but I told you I was gonna get something special to drink. So this holiday season, AKA allocation season in the bourbon world, I'm a member of the Dallas Bourbon Club, and yeah, we get some really cool bourbon and a lot of great friends and networking in the group, but the main reason I'm part of the organization is we're a charity organization. Every time we have a new bottle drop, it benefits some sort of new charity. And what I thought would pair awesome with this is the Dallas Bourbon Club Signature Charity Barrel Pick, which this year was Weller Foolproof. Absolutely love it. This benefited Bonton Farms, a charity in Dallas, and this bottle raised nearly $70,000, $55,000 for members alone. So pretty awesome, going to a great cause. So if you search hard enough, you definitely can find Weller Foolproof, maybe not Dallas Bourbon Club pick. But anyway, that'll pair great with this. A lot of people, you know, drink bourbon at the holidays, so I thought it'd be a good time to highlight that charity and show you guys that. So that's what I'll drink with it. So I'm gonna cut right down the middle, big slices on Wellington. And like I said, this, and by the way, nice and crusty on the outside. I'm gonna take a peek first. We did all right. There's your big reveal. So as you let it sit, get more pink, you can see a lot of steam still coming off of it. But I took this to, it was, you know, lower 120s, 125 was the highest reading I got anywhere. And then as it sat, it actually went up into the mid 130s, a little bit over in one spot. So, you know, almost getting closer to medium. So every time I teach you guys how to cook stuff, when I cook to a certain temperature, that's based on my family's preference. So if you like something cooked more rare, then pull it quicker. If you like it cooked more than how I've cooked it, then simply cook it longer. It's super, super easy. So, all right, big slice again. Gordon Ramsay thing, you're gonna go with, you know, pretty big slices here. But as you guys can see before, I'm just gonna lay one out, let it cool here for just a quick second. But you pick it up. So you can see the mushroom just wrapped around perfectly. Look at all the juice coming out of that chateaubriand. I didn't mention up front, that's a 44 Farms whole beef tenderloin, prime grade, and clearly super, super juicy. So, man, it looks killer to me. So I'm gonna just cut this, just cut a nice little slice off of this. The pastry, I know you guys can't tell, but it's like just perfectly cooked, just nice and crusty. Let's pick this up. This is heaven on earth right here. Golly, I mean, crazy tender. All right, I'm gonna talk no more than I normally do after a bite because there's a lot going on with that. So the first flavors I get, the puff pastry and the duxelles, I mean, it's just really nice, like kind of complex, with, you know, the shallots and the garlic we put in it. I said that was optional, but I love what that does with all the mushrooms. The holy cow is coming through. The salt, pepper, garlic, like I really got a flavor of that. And then bam, I got into the tenderness of that beef. And I mean, as you can see, super juicy. Man, that's a holiday meal. We've done tomahawk prime rib, we've done whole beef tenderloin, and now I purposely left this kind of as the grand finale because this is what I'm gonna do for my family. Look how awesome this looks on the table. Your family's gonna mow right through it. Don't forget the good stuff. Cheers, y'all. Oh man, that's tasty. Anyway, love it, highly recommend it. I know there's a couple painful steps with wrapping it up, but it's not that big a deal. It's kind of like when we did Texas red chili. Taking the long road home is rewarding, and when you see how perfectly it was cooked, you're gonna be super proud of it, putting it on the table. With this amazing lattice you put on here, you're gonna be a superstar. So please like and, as the new sign says, subscribe to our channel. This will be in the holiday playlist. Weekly cooking videos dropping every Wednesday. Thanks for being here. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. See you guys next time.